Hello pianists, you just heard an example of some accompaniment patterns applied to a lead sheet in E minor, which you will learn how to do today. So remember that we look at our lead sheets first to give us cues on what key it's in, what kind of chords it uses. So if we look at our key signature of 1 sharp, previously we've thought about that as G major, but as we study the score, we see it starts in E minor and it ends in E minor. And that lets us know that that is in the key of E minor. You can also use your key signature of 1 sharp for the key of G, go down 3 half steps. That is the relative minor to E. You can use that concept for any major. Let's see a key signature of C major, go down 3 half steps. We're in A minor. So this is the relative minor of G in the key of E minor. I look at my chords and I see I have E minor chords. I would block through these chords first to get started. E, G, B, diminished, remember lower that 5th, a half step, E, G, B flat, back to E minor. And remember, when there's no chord rewritten, we just keep on the same chord. Major 5, B major, B, D sharp, F sharp, C major, major 7, back to B, repeat that chord. Phrase is repetitive, E minor, 2, 3, E diminished, back to E minor, repeat, E minor, B major, 2, 3, back to E minor, and we finish up with E minor. So I'll teach you some accompaniment patterns that you can use for this piece, but really you can apply to any of your favorite chord charts that you have. You can do a search on YouTube of your favorite piece, be able to hear that melody, you can practice along with it as well. So let's go through some accompaniment ideas and some tips that I have for you. Previously we've talked about for complete beginner improv to stay in root position like I just played. Once you become a bit more advanced, you know your way around some inversions. I like to play accompaniment patterns with inversions. I avoid root position in both hands. It just sounds musically and harmonically more pleasing. It makes for a smoother voice leading for your right hand to stay in inversions and your left hand to play roots. You can play single tones or you can play octaves in the left hand depending on your hand size. I am using damper pedal today so I can play and relax my notes in between. Alright, so let's go through and figure out some inversions before we get into some exact accompaniment patterns. So I'm going to start with that E minor chord. Left hand, you can do the E singular or the octave. I'm going to play the inversion just up from there, which would be an E minor over G. Let me scoot over just a little bit so I can be to the left of middle C. Only change what you have to. B goes to B flat for E diminished. Stay there for E. If the chord repeats twice, I like to change up my inversions. My left hand will stay on roots, right hand go up to E minor over B. And you could just slip into root position since that's so close. If you want some variety, you could go to B over D sharp, C over E, back to B over D sharp. I'm going to bring it back down. Major 9, E minor over G for the right hand. E diminished, add the B flat. E minor. I'm going to bring it down, B over D sharp. B over F sharp for the right hand. Back home to E minor. I would suggest you first practice that through with the metronome just to make sure that your chord changes can be in time. You can use the metronomes where they set it to the 3, so this would be 80. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. That way you can make sure you're staying within that 3/4 time signature. All right, once you have figured out different inversions that you'd like to use, you can remember those by ear. You can write them in as your lead sheet symbols above what you already see there. You can write in for the right hand. Let's get to the fun of some accompaniment patterns next. So I figured out some accompaniment patterns which are really common, and you'll see it up on the screen there. I'm going to start with the broken chord pattern. My left hand is going to stay on roots like I just played. You can play it as single tones or double your octaves. My right hand is going to play those chords and inversions broken, where I play the bottom note of my inversion by itself and the top 2 blocked together. So it kind of just breaks that chord in half. So let's play through that. And notice on your score I've written in double bass clef, but the right hand will be played up in octaves. So it's on the G below middle C. My left hand sitting on an E number 2. So let's play through that. 1 and 2 and 3 and diminished B flat. practice that at your own pace. To get that comfortable, maybe you have to practice the right hand by itself. Another very common pattern is the arpeggiated chord. So this will start with our left hand in an octave span. Remember, close intervals in the bass just don't speak very well. They're not the most pleasant to hear. So I like more spacious intervals in my left hand. I have E to E octave. I'm going to fill out the fifth of each chord. Finger numbers are 5, 2, 1. Might have to get left hand comfortable first. So there's the bass notes for my 4 primary chords. Then once you can fill in the right hand will use those same inversions, but just arpeggiate up through it. So I'll demonstrate that. Here's E minor. Pedal changes every downbeat at the B flat. I'm going to bring my right hand up to E minor over B. B major over D sharp. Right hand C over E. Sharp. Bring your right hand up to a new inversion. Add the B flat. Back to B, natural for E minor. B, right hand over D, sharp. Over F, sharp. If you want, you can do a little hand over hand arpeggio action and go over to the third of E minor and end on a G. So you can pause it there and practice that one if you like. My suggestion is once you start to combine these patterns, don't try to change the pattern every measure. It's musically just too busy and just honestly kind of hard to play it that way. It's more musically pleasing to perhaps change it up at the start of phrases or sections. If you're playing a pop piece, maybe the verse could be in one pattern, the chorus or the bridge would be something different. But find patterns that you like and decide where to change them, just not very often. The last one we'll look at is the variegated right hand chord pattern. This one's a bit more intense with the left hand octaves. The right hand is still those same inversions we've worked on. Kind of just walks up through those thirds and the fourths of our intervals. So I'll give you a demo of that with our lead sheet. 1, 2, 3. Back to E minor over B. So my advice is just to sit and be creative and experiment and find what you like. Maybe you could keep a manuscript book of your favorite patterns and then you can insert them into different pieces as you like. You'll have to adjust them slightly for your 3/4 to 4/4 meters. So be careful that you're playing in your correct time signature of 3 for this piece. Again, use your metronome for that beat. Metronome online has where you can set to the beat as well. Use your damper pedal for a lyrical piece like this for resonance. Change it with every new chord or on the downbeats if it repeats the chord. Stay softer than the accompaniment. Keep it fluent always. Okay, so I'm going to give you a final demo. I'll push play on the 80 BPM practice tempo, and I'm going to apply all 3 of these patterns throughout this piece. So have fun improvising. Feel free to take these ideas and apply them to your favorite piece. Happy practicing.